What's up, YouTube? Back at it again. Joshua Ford here, writer-producer of A Story of the Batman. Spencer, better known as Mr. Hollywood. He is one of the musicians working on the project, as you can see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, we're here in undisclosed location because we love music, right?
That's why the location is undisclosed.
No. It's undisclosed because
We're
I
in
don't want
Florida.
Yeah, we're in Florida.
Yeah, we're totally in Florida.
Yeah, we're in Florida.
Yeah.
The topic of the matter is Joe Chill. Kind of. Well, you know Joe Chill. Those who don't know Joe Chill, he's one of the villains in this story. He's voiced by the very talented Danny Doyle. And since he's one of the main characters, he gets a cool little theme. And I thought it'd be good to have it to be a metallic theme. And so, Spencer's the metallic man. We did this piece before on another project.
That
failed. Joe Chill is a very interesting character. I'm excited for you guys to see him in this way because I don't think he's been portrayed in this way before. He is very determined, yet very sinister in a way. And I wanted a piece that kind of represented that for his theme. And back in the day, we made a piece for honestly not a similar character. It was in the Star Wars project, and it was our main protagonist. But he grew up to be like a Inquisitor hunter, if you guys know what Inquisitors are. That piece we're trying to convert now into Joe Chill's theme. But there's a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, so I recorded that. So that theme for Ruth was made in 2021. And that was also the last time I had opened that file. And I guess with the newer updates I use Logic Pro X, it's my digital audio workstation or DAW. At some point, I guess the software updating made the file incompatible with the current OS for Logic Pro X. And it's 2024 as we're recording this. I shared the file to Josh a long time ago. I just now re-downloaded it, and I can't import it into Logic. So now I have to re-record the entire thing from scratch. But as Josh said, it's a little theme, and by little we mean it's over 5 minutes long.
Yes, and the original file too had a metronome in the background. What was I saying? Metronome?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the click tracker metronome was on when I shared that file. So when Josh heard it, it was the click track was still there, and we're like, well, we're not going to use that.
We've tried all resources in removing clicks. It's not working. We're great editors, trust us. We know what we're doing with technology. It's just yeah. So that's what this video here is about. Just showing some more behind the scenes stuff with our musicians here and this unique process of trying to restore a former track.
Yeah, this will be kind of an introspective on what I go through when I'm recording. Also, a bit of a rig rundown, showcasing the gear that I use, the guitar, strings, pickups, and all the tracks and plugins I use.
Without further ado, let's get into it.
All right, so as stated previously, when I record stuff, I typically do it from the program drums first, and then I play the guitar part. But with this song, it's been so long since I've recorded it that I actually forgot how to play it. So what I have to do is I have to basically teach myself how to play it again. To do that, I'll listen to the song over again. It's like 5 minutes and 11 seconds long. But I did recently write an outro to it. Well, an outro after the outro. For when I'm writing with Caleb and Josh, I'm using a Marshall Code 50. There's 100 presets, and if I want, I can change the effects pedals in it, I can change the amp itself, I can change the power section, I can change the cab. Now I have to basically figure out how to play the song again, so... because this is more difficult to play, at least to relearn on the fly. So some funny backstory on this song. When for the Star Wars project that fell through, when Caleb had composed the main theme for it, Josh sent it to me, and I only listened to like the first 15 seconds. I'm like, all right, I got inspiration for an entire 5-minute song. Which a lot of this song is a variation of just going. In fact, like the first 2 minutes or first 90 seconds of this version of it is just all just playing off of that. And there's some variation in it. And there's the ringing chords. And then I do some octave stuff. So. And then there's some chuggy stuff. And then it eventually just goes to. But depending on how reprogramming the drums goes, I may rewrite sections of the song. The first minute 15 seconds will be exactly the same, but the outro will actually end with this chord. And the reason for that really eerie sounding ending is that, Joe Chill is a really intimidating guy, and he's someone that, even a lot of the members of Gotham's crime underbelly are, they feel pretty uncomfortable around. And so a lot of this song sounding intense and sounding scary is done deliberately to make him seem more intimidating, and also just sounds cool. Josh was showing me parts of when he's speaking with the demo track that I gave him 3 years ago, and just the BPM of the song is perfect because it's synced up perfectly to his lines, and it just really helps kind of create this atmosphere around the character and bring this collection of colored pixels on a screen and a disembodied voice to life.
Listen up, you bozos. The name's Joe Chill.
And that's, something even if I do rewrite sections of the song, I still want it to have that atmosphere. It meshes well because the song I composed is already intimidating enough, and then it's just the intimidating character of Joe Chill, it just meshes with it perfectly. And as I'm recording this and rewriting it, I want to keep it as close to that. I want to keep it as pure as possible. I want it to sound as good as possible and work with what we've got as well as possible. And that'll be, I'll definitely be asking to see, for the other scenes that I'm providing music for, asking to see those in advance just so I have a better idea of how the song should sound and how to structure the song around it. To me, the first time I ever performed live, I was told that this was in high school, and the teacher in charge of our pageant was like, I want you to write something that just highlights everyone's talents. And I'm like, well, that's really stupid. I mean, how am I supposed to do that? I don't know anyone in the pageant. But, actually having a character with, written and spoken lines makes that process of storytelling through music a whole lot easier. And I think compared to the times I've played live, I think I actually prefer being commissioned for this project more because I've got more material to work with that I can actually take inspiration from.
Hey guys, Mr. Hollywood here. I thought I would take y'all through a little bit of a recording rig rundown, as well as some commentary on the process behind making the piece Chill in the Air for A Story of the Batman. Usually when I produce stuff, actually always, I will always program the drums in first, and then do guitars, and then do bass. And there's gonna be like one or two pieces for this project that have vocals in them. So next, what I'll produce is, what I do last is the vocals. I play drums IRL. The reason I program drums is because I don't have a large enough audio interface or mic setup to record drums live, so I program them instead. But you can see here I've got the drums separated into hi-hats, the ride cymbal and ride bell. That's what the ping, ding, 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 ding is. And then the crash cymbals, the toms, and snare and kick. And then I'm running for guitars. I've got there are 2 lead tracks, but the reason there are 2 lead tracks is because one of them's like barely audible. The other is for the intro. And then I've got 1 bass track. So 2 rhythm tracks. The reason there are 2 rhythm tracks is because when you double track guitars, it sounds thicker. And I'm actually replicating double tracking in 1 individual track through use of this mixer, and ignore the overdrive pedal there, that doesn't do anything because it's not even on. And then the delay, which is set to 32 milliseconds, 3% repeats, and 35.5% mix. So even if I'm just playing 1 track, it already sounds kind of like it's double tracked. Combine that with the actual double tracking on top of that artificial tracking, it's a much thicker and meatier tone. For amp sim or amp profiling, I'm using the Fortin Nameless Suite. Here you can see my settings. The cable is in high, and then we've got gain dimed all the way to 10, presence at 2, bass at like 7, 7.5, mids at like 5, 5.5, treble at the same, and then gain 2 is up at 10, and then gain 1 is at 6. And then for the pedals, I'm using the Zool and the Grind. The Zool maxed out, that's the noise gate. Grind is at like 3, 3.5, maybe 4, if it had like a standard 0 to 10 scale. And then with mics, I've got them both the closest in the center of the speaker cone and as close to the speaker as I can get it. The mics I'm using both are Ribbon 121s. And then as for my guitar, I'm using a Schecter Omen 7. The pickups I'm using are in the neck, which I don't even use in this track, is the Seymour Duncan Jazz, and then the bridge is the Seymour Duncan Invader. Those are not the stock pickups that come with the guitar. And then for strings, I have it strung up. This is from the 1st string to the 7th string. 10, 13, 17, 36, 52, 60, 70. It is tune E, B, G, D, A, E, A. But for this track, it's actually in baritone. So instead of the 7th string being tuned to A, it's tuned to B. The treble side is 2 millimeters off the fretboard, or off the fret wire, from where the neck joins the body. And then the bass side is 3 millimeters. That's like the lowest I can get it without the frets buzzing like at all. I also like the feeling of higher tension strings, part of why I'm using such a thick set. There's times where I kind of like to feel like I'm actually having to put effort into playing the guitar. If you listen to the track, you'll notice that the guitars just have this like really aggressive growl to them. That's partially from the Seymour Duncan Invader, but also from just using thick strings. The bridge style or tailpiece style on the Schecter Omen is a Tunomatic or like Les Paul style. With that, the strings are top wound. Normally, you would run the string through the back of the tailpiece, and then it comes up and over and onto the bridge saddles. With this, with top line, it's coming from the inside and it's being wrapped around the top of the tailpiece, and I've got the tailpiece as like flush to the body as I can get it, and then it goes through the bridge. The reason I do it like that is because the changing in the angle on the strings changes the tone of it. It also changes the tension of the strings. And also, Zakk Wylde is my biggest influence when it comes to guitar, so I have all my guitars set up like as close to Zakk Wylde as I can get it. That's partially why I use such heavy strings too. Once again, here is the list of specs. That's all.